Hello, happy Monday. Hello, 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 happy Monday. How you doing? Hello, hello, hello. Go ahead as you're joining and hit your share. Share, tag, and invite. Share, tag, and invite. All right, I'm trying to duel tonight. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Well, I was trying to duel tonight, starting up another platform, so we'll see if it ever catches up with me. If not, we'll deal with it later. But happy Monday to you. To those of you who are joining, definitely hit your share, your tag and invite, share, tag and invite. Hope you had a wonderful Monday and your new year is off to a good start and you have determined your footing. But I want to talk about some things tonight. Last week, I started talking about 4 elements that I had posted about plan, prepare. And so tonight I want to finish up just touching on posture and position. And then I want to encourage you with some other things just to get your wheels turning, and hopefully you'll begin to really think about where you are, what you're doing in this season. And I've heard several people talk about this whole New Year thing, and it's true. There's nothing really different except what you do different. If you don't do anything different, guess what? It's another year with you doing the same thing. And so as we get this encouragement and we get these cliches and we get these themes for different years, it means nothing if you don't do anything different than you've already done, right? So if you continue to do the same thing, then you'll continue to get what you've always got. And so that's important. So last week I talked about planning, talked about preparing, because as you have set a trajectory for whatever it is that you are planning to do in this season, in this year, you want to make sure that you have established a plan for doing whatever it is and that you're prepared for executing the plan. This is where a lot of us kind of get off kilter, and that is we have a whole lot of wonderful thoughts in our head, but we don't put a plan to see that thing to execution. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. So you want to make sure you have a plan in place. You take the time, sit down, write out your goals. And I believe I posted something earlier. Well, it was probably last week. You know, it was the end of the week. And so my question was, what did you do? Did you write your goals down? Did you establish a budget? Did you establish the direction you were going in? What did you accomplish the first week of the year? Of the new year? What did you accomplish? Because if in fact you started this year the same way you started the previous year, you're going to have the same thing this year you had last year. And that's where we want to break up the monotony in the behavior and how we think about what it is that we do. So those things are important when it comes to making your, getting to the place of manifestation and making a difference in what it is that you're doing. And then so the next thing I talked about plan, I talked about prepare. And then the other thing that I had posted about was posture. And when I talk about posture, a lot of times our demeanor, if you're coming into if you're going into a room, how you walk into that room matters. If you're sluggish, if your countenance is off, if your body posture, your body language is off, you're not walking in there with confidence as if you're expecting something to be different, or you're expecting to make a difference in the atmosphere of the room you're walking into, or even make a difference, with what you say when you walk into the room. So your posture has to be also in a position of expectancy. So what's your posture? So, based on what your plan is, and based on what it is that you are looking to happen in this season of your life, your posture has to align with that. So our countenance, everything about what it is that we're expecting. What are your expectations? What are your expectations of yourself? Are you expecting yourself to do something different than you've always done? There's some people that are just known for being late. Well, when are you going to be on time? And when is that going to be a very important element for you, that you're going to make it a priority to be on time? That means you got to start 30 minutes earlier than you normally do. You got to chart your course, where you're going, when you got to be there, what you got to have to get there. If it takes you an hour to put your makeup on, and you need to get up an extra 2 hours early. So you have an hour to get your makeup on and an hour to get where you're going. But you have to be very, very, very cognizant of what it is that you need to do and own it. You got to own it, and so when you own the things that you need to do to make a difference, then you can also correlate that and intertwine that into your posture being different. Okay. You know how it is when we're excited about doing something, excited about going somewhere. Our countenance is different. Our posture is different. We have a posture of expectancy. When we're going somewhere that we really are excited about going, we want to go. Nobody has to tell us, to get dressed up and all this kind of thing and have a posture. When you walk in the room, you walking in the room like you somebody, because you think you're somebody. So you have to think that way on a daily basis. I am somebody. I'm here for a reason, to impact the world and do something great. And so you have to think that way on a consistent basis. Then your position. What's your position? You want to make sure that you are postured in the right position, and you position yourself for opportunities as they come. Because the thing of it is, if you have the right posture, you plan and you prepare, then you put yourself in position for those things that come your way. The opportunities that come your way, the things that will be very, pertinent for your success, will happen if you position yourself accordingly. So you got to be ready. You can't be getting ready. You got to stay ready. You got to already be ready. That's why it's important that we prepare. That's why it's important that we have a plan. So when it's time, you don't have to even worry about what to do. You're already ready to move forward. Okay. So those were the 4 things that I kind of started off the year with. And in addition to that, you want to make sure that you establish a budget, because whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter if it's a personal project, even if it just means you're overhauling your home, you're reorganizing, you're getting your closet cleaned out, whatever that is. You're going to have to buy some hangers. You're going to have to get some organizers, or you're going to have to get some bags. You got to do something. You need a budget. You need a budget for a lot of different reasons, and depending on what stage of life you're in, you definitely need a budget so that you can make sure that you're saving for your rainy day and a day that you're not working on the same level. So you need a budget so that you can look at everything that's happening, not only with your home and your personal finances, but with your business and your business finances. That's very, very, very important. And not to mention investments and retirement and things of that nature. So it's important, if you have not had this conversation with yourself, because you have to have these conversations. And if you've not had this conversation with yourself, you want to make sure that you take the time in this first month, these first 31 days, while I'm on that, making sure you're getting wisdom. Proverbs 31 every day is a proverb, but getting wisdom on how you need to manage your house, how you need to manage you, right? So, and I posted something the other day, and I was just saying, you got to be confident about, listen, stop worrying about being everybody else and what everybody else doing. Everybody else is taken. So you got to be you, be yourself. And so work on that and making sure you're the best possible you that you can be. So good evening again for those of you who are joining. Thank you so much for joining me over here on the Bridget Moody Consulting platform. If you will hit your share tag and invite someone, we got to get them on this platform. So this is where we are in 2020 going forward. So definitely hit your share tag and invite someone to be a part of the conversation tonight. Hello to everybody, and hope you had a wonderful Monday. So now that I've done my recap, I want to throw out some things, because I have the last week I've been a part of several platforms as far as listening to the inspiration and motivation from other people, because I have to have it. While I'm encouraging and motivating you all, I have to have it myself so that I can continue to do what it is that I do. So you have to feed yourself. You have to put something in. You have to deposit something so you have something to draw out. So that was a nugget for somebody right there. So it's important that we get motivated, we get encouraged by someone on another level, so it helps us to continue to do what it is that we're purposed to do, right? So I was listening to Bishop Jakes and to the prayers that have been offered by Pastor John Hanna out of Chicago. So I love that ministry. And so these are things that help me in my business, help me in my personal life, and they all intertwine. And so you have to have balance. So you have to have balance for your business. And so, because you have to be prepared for all types of situations and all types of people, because your clients can come from all types of backgrounds and everything. So you definitely want to be prayed up. And then you want to make sure that you're getting all of the information that's going to be pertinent for where you're going and what it is that you're trying to do. And so everyone you interact with will not necessarily be in your circle. So it's important that you get that balance in your life. And so one of the things that I talk about all the time that was shared over the last, and I'm just kind of pulling from some of the things that stood out to me, and I want to encourage you with it tonight. One of the things that was said was celebrate small successes. And I always say celebrate the small victories along the way, which is why you don't want to take a big chunk out and say, this is what I'm doing for the year. Let's take the first 30 days. Can you be consistent for 31 days doing anything? And it's stated that, anything you do for 21 days, you can establish a habit doing that. Well, it's important that, especially if you're making a transition in yourself, in your life, in something you're doing, if you're transitioning out of corporate into 100% entrepreneur, business owner, or whatever the case may be, you need a strategy for that. You need a plan of action for that. Not only that, you need to celebrate the small victories along the way. So, when you establish a list of things that you need to do in order to be successful in whatever it is, or whatever level it is, or whatever area it is, then you need to make sure that you chart your course. And not only that, you check your list. And so as you do things that are pertinent for the business, pertinent for your life, pertinent for whatever it is that you're making that transition in, celebrate those things. You may not have gotten to the point that the next person has gotten to because they started, further along doing what they're doing. But whatever it is that you accomplish along the way, celebrate that. Celebrate those small victories along the way, because we're trying to get from revelation to manifestation overnight, and it doesn't work that way. And so, not that your expectations definitely you don't want them to be misguided, and you want to be realistic with yourself. But at the same time, you have to establish a momentum to get yourself to the next level. Is that good? Okay. And so then one of the other things was, and some of these things came out of a message that Bishop Jakes shared. And so you'll probably be able to find that on YouTube very quickly, because it was just recently this weekend. Another thing that he said that was key, and he said a whole lot of stuff, but I just carved out a few things that stood out to me to share. But creativity is cluttered with complaining. And here's the deal about that. So oftentimes we have such amazing gifts. And I talk about cluttered creativity being the object of the pen to paper method, because oftentimes we have so many things swarming around in our heads. We have the creativity, we have the ability, we have the gift, but until you strategize and get it on paper, you will not determine all the things that, number one, you are gifted to do. Number two, how to strategize on implementing those things. And it's important that you do that, because what happens is, sometimes financially we'll go the wrong direction, or we'll pay more than we need to pay, because why? We didn't take the time to strategize. We didn't take time to get a plan of action together and say, this is what I need to do. This is how much I need. Or do comparison, shop. And I say all the time, at least, find 3 businesses or 3 different, platforms that's doing what you're doing or selling what you're selling, or whatever the case may be, and determine what's going to be the best route for you. What's offered, what's the benefit, what's the cost, right? What's offered, what's the benefit, what's the cost? And we have to learn to think this way, because if not, we'll spend money we don't need to spend. And not only that, we'll waste time that we don't have to waste, because we can't get a refund. Once your time is gone, it's gone. You cannot get a refund on your time. So it's important that you allocate things appropriately and that you take the time. But, in this thing of cluttered creativity, in the complaining, a lot of times we can't get our creativity to be at work the way it needs to be because we're complaining about the things that we don't have or that we want, that we have not accomplished. When we need to focus on what we do have, and it may help you to gain some of those things that you feel like you've not been successful with. Okay, is that good? Because oftentimes, I know for myself, I have a focus that is my purpose. But I also have many giftings that are opportunities for me to be successful financially and from other perspectives. So I have more than one business that I function in operating in. And for a lot of you, it's probably the same thing. But until you sit down and really strategize, because here's the deal. There are a couple of things that I do that are seasonal. And it depends on that timing and when I need to prepare for that particular business. It's a particular time of the year that I plan for that particular business because it's not something that is necessarily a year-round thing. However, I have to also consider the fact of the global opportunity, and that in certain other regions, this is a season for that particular product. So what I have to do is I have to time the time to prepare for that and get those items and get that inventory prepared. And then I have a time that I push that particular business. But the entire year is not the time to necessarily push it. But I do need to be prepared. So if I have clients that request it or want it, it's available. So it's important that we strategize and rather than complaining about what we don't have, let's get that creativity uncluttered and let's establish what all we do have to work with. Because sometimes you have more than you realize you have. And so sometimes it just means we have to have somebody to help us to see that and see it from a different perspective. That good? The other thing is this: channel your work ethic, channel the work that you do every day. So whatever it is that you do every day, even if it's in a corporate setting, channel the work. And when I say channel the work, flow your work accordingly so that you're not trying to do 50 things at the same time and you're not getting out one of them completed. And a lot of us are guilty of this. And so that's why you have to have a plan of action for what you do. And you have to have a flow for how you work. Because if not, you don't get things completed. And so it further adds to the frustration of not being successful. Why? Because if you're not completing anything, you're not having, number one, these small victories along the way. You're not celebrating small successes along the way because you're not completing anything. You start this up and then you get halfway or 3/4 of the way with that, then you start something else up. And you don't get finished with that, then you start something else. And so here's the deal. It's okay to be excited about different things as they come along and as they come up and as things pop into your head, but you have to have a strategy on how you're going to complete a thing and get it done with quality, right? And get it done so that it is a quality item, quality product, performance, whatever that is, that you do it and you do it well. So channel your work appropriately so that you can be successful with the things that you do. The other thing that's important every year, and this is not just at the top of a year, this is important throughout your life and at all times. You need to always make sure that there is foundation, there is structure, and there is infrastructure. That you got a foundation, there's structure, and there's infrastructure. So in the event, for your life, for your business, or whatever you're doing, make sure you have your foundation right. That means that's that first level of planning and, sorting out what it is that you're to do, how you're to do it, how you're going to do it. That whole plan of action for executing. Do your strategy piece. Make sure that the structure for that is just like a house. You got to have a foundation before you have that structure. Then you can get the infrastructure completed. Those are pertinent elements in every part of your life. It goes along with your policies, your processes, and your procedures in the business world. So it's important that you have these areas together. And a lot of times when we don't have foundation, we don't have structure. We don't have structure, we don't have infrastructure. So these things are important, and you have to separate them out, and you have to determine what's required for these different areas and how you're going to implement them into your life. And for many of us, we just need to set a foundation, reestablish a foundation for our life. Before you start doing a business or anything, reestablish a foundation for your life. Where am I at in this season of my life? What am I doing? I'm 50. What am I doing at 50? I'm 51, 52, 55. Where are you on track? Are you on track for retirement? What does that look like? Have you sat down and determined what you need to live at age 62, 65? Or are you going to continue to work? What are you going to be doing at this age? How are you preparing yourself to be at this point of functionality? So these are important. I'm telling you, this is just as important when you're talking about doing business and all of this, because all of this needs to intertwine, and you need to have a trajectory. What are you doing for the next 3 years? What do you plan to accomplish? Then what's the next 5 years? What's the next 7 years? And next 10 years? So for a lot of us who are at 50, what are you going to be doing at 60? What does that look like? And you cannot be afraid to sit and write this stuff out. Write it down, think about it, and really put a plan of action together. Because I'm telling you, it's just not going to happen by osmosis. It's not falling out the sky. It ain't coming by UPS, and it's not coming by FedEx. You need to have a plan. And you need to know what it is that you need to do and how you're going to get there. Okay? So foundation, structure, and infrastructure. Those are important. And then, of course, as I alluded to earlier, we have wonderful creativity, things that really get our juices flowing. We're excited about it. It's our gift. It's our call. It's what we're purposed to do. But here's the other part. You want to make sure that you organize your thoughts. Organize your thoughts. Get a plan of action together, and determine how you're going to get from revelation to manifestation. It's the stuff in the middle that really trips a lot of us up. And, you know, I'm in environments all the time, and people are talking about, I want to do this and I don't know where to start, and I don't know what to do to get this going, and I really want to do that, and da-da-da-da-da. Organize your thoughts. So many people struggle with that very area. And so until you sit down and really challenge yourself to really be strategic and disciplined to do that particular task, it is going to take you just that much longer. Now, I've heard the philosophies of many that you just go out here, if it's a business, you just go out here and you just start doing it and getting customers. Okay. Well, it really kind of depends upon what you're doing. Even in that, if you're selling a product, you may be able to do that. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure you got some product, which means you got to make sure you got to have money to have your inventory, right? Then how much inventory? Then, you know, what's your target market? Your target audience. Do you know that product is going to sell out, or that particular, you know, demographic wants that particular product? So it's still some work that needs to be done. So at the end of the day, we have to be careful about some of the stuff that we listen to and that we jump on the bandwagon with, because at the end of the day, it has to work for your demographics. It has to work for what it is you're doing, and it has to work for where you live and the audience, the target audience, and the area that you're marketing to. So you got to think about where you are, what you're doing. That's why a lot of times when we jump into some of these things and they charge us, you know, $2,500, and then they give us all this hype and they talking about they millionaires, you leave there, you still don't have a plan or a strategy. Yeah, you were in the room, but that was all. You were just in the room. And so if no one took the time to give you the 1, 2, 3s of the high level $1 million, you know, fluff that was given to you, you're still standing in the rain, wet, with no money and no success. So we gotta be very, very, very mindful, and we gotta think things through, and we really gotta consider the basic elements of what's required for us, especially if you've never gone into business, or if you've had a business that failed. Definitely rethink your process, how you're going to regain your footing, restart, overhaul what you're doing. Get someone to help you. Ask people who've done it. Get someone who is doing well in that area. When I got ready to venture into this next platform that I'm on, I'm venturing into for 2020, I got some help. I got somebody that is an expert in that area. So you need to get you a subject matter expert, get you a SME, someone who can help you to get yourself to that next place, and that knows the business. So here again, and I'm gonna kind of end on this note tonight. The next few minutes that I'm on, you have the revelation of what it is you desire to do, or you're supposed to be doing, or that you know you have been successful in doing to some extent. But you got to get to manifestation. So you got revelation and you got manifestation. That means getting that thing to execution. You got to have. How you gonna get there? How you gonna get there? You know, and so the reason why it's so important, if the GPS is not working and you don't read maps, and you don't know where you're going, you're in a fix. Because if that should happen and the device is not working, You got to take some time to put a plan of action on how you're going to get from your point A to your point B. And we need to always think like that and not take for granted that certain things are going to always be in place. It means you definitely need to have a plan of action. You need to always have a plan of action. You need to always think about a plan A or B. Now, here's the other part of that, and this is very important. Always leave room for the will of God, because things can always shift and change, which is why our posture needs to be right, and we need to always be in position, because there are things that can happen, opportunities that can come along that you need to be ready for, because God may just send somebody with something that you thought was going to take 6 months, and somebody may come next week and say, hey, Bridget, we're ready for you to do X, Y, Z. I got to be ready for that. And so that means we got to take the time, and we got to work the stuff in the middle, which means we got to have a plan of action. We got to organize our thoughts, and we got to know the direction we're going in. So, as you're preparing, as we're still in this first month of the year, if you've not gotten a plan of action together or set some goals, something to help discipline yourself, we ain't talking about anybody else. We're just talking about you. To help discipline yourself. If you've not done that, please do it. You need to do it. Next, if you've not taken the time to establish a budget, and if you're over 50, I'm telling you, this is stuff, but sometimes we have to be reminded. You want to make sure you do it. I'm telling you, it's important in this season, because when we change seasons, and every 10 years is something different, then here's the deal. You got to make sure that you're planning accordingly and you're thinking along these lines, so that because things are changing. They're changing all the time. And so you've got to get out there and you've got to know what's happening and how you need to be prepared, so that when opportunities happen, when things change, when things shift, you're ready to flow with it, and you can continue to be successful. All right. Well, I see several of you on tonight. Hope you have shared this with your circle. Share it with your circle. As I stated, we'll have to continue to help people to realize we're on this platform. They're so used to me being on the other platform, but they'll get there probably by March. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. As always, we're right here every Monday for Monday Motivation. And so just to encourage you, motivate you. And as I stated, if there's something in particular that you'd like for me to share, talk about, is from a consulting perspective, from a strategic consulting perspective, definitely reach out to me, inbox me, or whatever the case may be, and I'll be happy to do a session just on that particular topic and see if we can help you go to another level in whatever it is that you're doing. But otherwise, I appreciate you sharing with me here on this platform every Monday night at 8:30 Central Standard Time. A couple of things I just want to remind you of. Of course, my outreach conference and women's retreat is under pen2paper.biz. Pen to Paper, that's my outreach. And so you can always go to Pen2Paper, PEN2, and see what's going on there. So we have 2 events this year. One is in June 26th and 27th. We will have the women's retreat in Portland, Oregon. That is going to be an amazing time. Limited space there, so you want to definitely go to pen2paper.biz, BIZ, and check that out and get registered. Or you'll want to place a non-refundable deposit to hold your spot. That's June 26, 27, Portland, Oregon. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be doing an outing to the mountains, and there is an amazing waterfall that we're going to be experiencing during that retreat that weekend. So you definitely want to get a girlfriend and come on and join us for the women's retreat, Pen2Paper Women's Retreat, and that's June 26, 27, 2020. And then the Pen2Paper Conference will be November 6th and 7th right here in Dallas, Texas. And so I'm so excited about that. We have some amazing speakers that are going to be joining me this year. There is going to be a wealth of knowledge shared. It's going to be engaging, interactive. And so it is going to be an awesome, awesome time. You definitely want to make plans to be with us. Hey, Frankie. You want to definitely make plans to be with us November 6th and 7th right here in Dallas, Texas. So now through the end of this month, registration is already open for both of these events. You can register. You want to go ahead and get your spots. I'm telling you, both places have limited seating, so you don't want to wait to the last minute. So that's why I'm sharing it with you now. We're going to have a teen segment. So young people, for those of you who register early bird, okay, this month early bird, you will get a free registration for a teen, 19 and under. So buy one, get one teen free. Okay, so definitely check that out. If you have a teenager just out of high school, just into college, I'm telling you, this is the time for them to be a part of this information. We have gifted young people, but they need that balance of the experience of us who have been through the trenches a little bit, okay, to help them as they are making decisions and going forward in life. So that is a special that is available. And early bird registration is $99. That's for a 2-day event. We're going to take care of you for those 2 days. So food, that includes your food as well. Lodging opportunities are also available on the site, pentopaper.biz. So go check that out. And I look forward to seeing you at one of those events this year in 2020. So we'll be talking about that as time draws near, as well as talking to some of our speakers that are going to be with us in this year's conference. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. We have some amazing people that are going to be a part of this conference this year. So it's going to be quite different for those of you who have attended the conference in the past. It's going to another level. So have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't forget, if you need to go back and jot some of these things down, do your homework. So we want to make sure that we are moving forward and we're progressing in what it is that we've been called and commissioned to do, purpose to do. For those of you that have not gotten my new book, Gift Aborted, you want to make sure you do that. Go to giftaborted.com. You can do that. And I'm telling you, I've gotten so many testimonies of those persons who have already purchased the book and have been reading it and how it's blessed them. So you can go to Amazon.com and order your copy if you have an account with Amazon and you just prefer to do that. Or if you prefer to have it on your Kindle, you can get it on Kindle as well, download it. And then you can always go to the website, giftaborted.com, and you can order there directly, okay? So that's another thing. And then the last thing, we do have our Ephesians 3:20. It's an Ephesians 3:20 season tee. So I have, these are unisex. So the gray, you can wear that, male or female. And then we have the pretty bling bling for the ladies. So that's a real pretty blue, and it has a little glitter. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So it's Ephesians 3:20 season. So you can definitely get those. So if you're interested in either of those things, definitely you can go to the website or you can inbox me and we'll get you taken care of. All right. So for those of you who are just coming on, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Go back and watch it from the beginning. We share some good nuggets on tonight. We will be back here next Monday, 8:30 Central Standard Time for Monday Motivation. This is our platform going forward for 2020. So definitely lock us in and make sure you join us here. And then listen, share this with somebody. Will you share it? Share it with someone because we want to be a blessing. We want to help those who are launching businesses, wanting to write a book. I have about 4 authors that are in the process of writing books right now, getting ready to go to publishing. And so it's starting off, the year is starting off really busy, but I'm excited for these authors and the gifts that are in them. And this is what it's about. So, whatever it is that you need to do, that could be a recipe book. I have one person's doing poetry, their personal stories, testimonies, all kinds of things. So listen, you want to do what it is that you are called, purpose to do, want to do, gifted to do, created to do. Let that creativity flow. Don't let it get cluttered with complaining. Every time you think about complaining, you think about, no, Bridget Moody told me I need to be creating. So when you think about complaining, start creating something. Start writing, start doing something, but shift your energy. Shift your energy, okay? And let's channel it in a different direction in 2020. Well, listen, be blessed. Have a good week. Thank you all again. I appreciate you all. Hey, Rita, I see you. Yashika, thank you. Denise, a couple other folks. Dennis, I saw y'all jump on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Elder Weatherall, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Definitely share this with your circle, and we'll eventually get them over here. They'll find their way to Bridget Moody Consulting on Monday nights. So listen, thank you so much, and we will see you next Monday for Monday Motivation right here. Same time, same place. Have a good one. Bye-bye.